Hi, I'm Wayne and this is Bassador Woodworking. It's been a little while. So this package is from a company called AlgoLaser, and it is their new DIY laser engraver / cutter kit. And I actually had very good interactions with this company. In the spirit of full transparency, here are the incentives that AlgoLaser tried to provide me with in exchange for this laser. They said that I could receive a high commission of up to 8%, that I would receive a high value product of over $300, and that I would receive one-on-one professional services in exchange for the laser and making the video. I then reached back out to them, and this is what I replied back, saying I would be very interested in looking at your laser, but I have a couple parameters that I don't really waver on in any way. One being, I cannot receive any commission on sales of the product. You can provide me with a discount code to share with my audience, but I cannot make any money from sales on your end. 2, my review of the product will be 100% my own. You cannot provide any language that must be used in the review. You can provide me with a spec sheet with features you would like highlighted, but they are used at my discretion. And then the third thing was that any products sent to me are mine to keep or to give away to my audience. And I said, if you agree to these terms, I'm excited to work with you. And they were completely on board. The only thing that they said was they wanted to make a couple of suggestions on types of projects I could do with the laser, given that we are approaching Christmas, maybe do some Christmas ornaments, things like that. And then also they said, they gave me a timeline to try to publish a video in about 2 to 3 weeks from receiving this product, which I thought was fair. They also asked if I could do 2 videos instead of just 1. I said no, not for the value of this product. I cannot guarantee 2 videos. It's not that complex of a thing where I can easily make 2 videos out of this if the product is bad, essentially. If the product is great and I'm going to be using it organically anyway, it's going to show up in more than 1 video. But again, I'm not a laser guy, so I don't know how much I'm going to use this. It's certainly, I don't think, going to become a cornerstone of my shop. It's going to be a nice to have. I'm going to use it on some guitar builds, maybe use it to help make up some like router templates and some layout type stuff. I think it would be really cool for that kind of stuff. But I'm not trying to make a side hustle type business of like an Etsy store or anything like that. So this is going to be just another tool in my shop. Okay, so as you can see, I have not even opened this box yet. I'm going to try to use the directions in the box as a first kind of thing. But my contact at the company did send me a setup video as a, I guess, backup. Alright, so I opened it upside down, so that's cool. It comes in with, let's see, a couple of booklets, consumables package, and a user manual. Okay. Okay, and it all actually looks very neatly packed. So far, everything looks like it's really good quality. In the lifetime of this channel, I've had probably 8 to 10 companies reach out to me wanting to provide me with a tool or a product in exchange for what essentially is a sponsored review. And those have typically fallen through because I have a few non-negotiable conditions that I put in place before I will even consider working with a company. I cannot be paid to do the video. The only compensation I can receive is the product or tool for me to keep or do whatever I want with, whether that be at the end of the video throw it in the trash or keep it and use it. as my own tool forever, or even give it away to somebody or a friend, family member, even a subscriber. In the past, I've also tried to angle with companies that were asking for a video of a product that is pretty inexpensive. I've asked them to send me multiple so that I can do a giveaway with one of them. And that's usually been a hard stop for a lot of them for some reason, but it is what it is. Which brings me to my second non-negotiable condition, is that that affiliate link cannot provide me any kind of monetary compensation. I cannot get any kind of kickback on the sales of a product. I cannot be incentivized to sell a product, because if I'm incentivized to say good, nice things about this product because I will be getting a monetary kickback for that, that's not honest. It's a violation of the trust that I am working to build with the community I'm working to build. And I don't want to be making money on the backs of my audience, however limited it may be. The third non-negotiable condition is that they get no oversight over the video of any kind. If they need a copy of the video ahead of time, it's for notice only, but they cannot suggest any changes to it. I get to say whatever I want, positive or negative. I get to compare it to whatever I want, and I make it clear that I'm going to do everything I can in good faith. I'm not going to unnecessarily trash their product, and I'm not going to be unfair to it, but also they cannot dictate what I say. And that's usually where the talks kind of fall apart. In the 8 to 10 companies that have reached out in exchange for product review type things, only 3 of them have been receptive at all to those conditions. One of them was like, yes, we're good to go, and then just never sent the product. That was about a year and a half ago. In the past month or so, I've actually had a couple of very positive interactions with brands. One of them is a video coming out sometime in the next month or so, hopefully. I'm looking for the right project to work on it with, because it's not a strictly woodworking type product. So I need to find, it falls more into the tool restoration realm. So I need to find the right tool to restore that this product would be a good fit for. Because I also don't want to shoehorn it into a project and it become just like, oh, this video is an ad for this product. I want it to be used organically in that video. For anyone wondering, these T-handle Allen keys I'm using are by Bondus. They are great. They aren't all that expensive. They're widely available on Amazon. I have metric, SAE, and I also have a set of Torx ones, and they're great. I use them all the time. Had them for years. If this is the total footprint of the unit, it's a very good size. So I wish, one thing that I have discovered here is this piece I installed wrong way around. I wish in the directions there was something noting that there's a screw hole that you need access to on here, or some marking on the top to differentiate the orientation of this piece, because there's a screw hole here and here that I need to be able to place end caps, and it's not tapped all the way through. So this piece needs to be in a certain orientation. There's nothing to mark that it should be in a specific orientation until you get to step 8. So now I need to disassemble this portion of the machine, which isn't the biggest deal. It's going to take like 30 seconds, but it's an annoyance, and it's something that can easily be fixed, either by calling it out in the directions, which is the cheapest option, or screen printing something on here, even if it's a logo that is supposed to be oriented a certain way. Throughout this video, if you notice that I'm doing anything like fundamentally incorrect using this laser, feel free to comment it down below. I don't know what I don't know, so if I could really get some help on this, I would greatly appreciate it. And assembly is done. It took about 40 minutes, 35 minutes. Okay, setting up the hardware of the laser was actually really easy, pretty straightforward. We're good to go there. Now I'm going to start installing the software end of this whole equation. I'm installing Lightburn. I've never used Lightburn before. I've used a bunch of softwares that use G-code for 3D printing, so I'm assuming I'll be able to figure this out pretty easily. I bought my own license for Lightburn. AlgoLaser did not provide that to me. I bought it before even checking out the AlgoLaser. So I did notice that on AlgoLaser's website, you can get Lightburn for $5 less than you can buy it directly from Lightburn. So if you're going to be purchasing this whole package, definitely save the $5. So now I've got this set. My framing is working, homing is working. So now I'm going to see if I can run a project. And it seems to be going. I don't know if it's doing anything. Yeah, it's lightly engraving. I didn't adjust any of the power settings or anything. So this is just running base stock on just a piece of pine. And it is lightly engraving it. And going pretty quickly too. So once this is through, we will do it again, but while that's doing its thing over there, let's get into a little bit more about this laser, get more into the review and initial impressions portion of this, I guess. This thing seems very well built. That's my initial impression. Except for a few little clerical errors in the manual, it's very easy to get started. There is a learning curve to using a laser and to using a new laser software, Lightburn. I've never used it before, but it was pretty quick to get up and running. I watched a couple of YouTube videos while troubleshooting to find out what I was doing wrong. And the community out there for laser engraving is large, and any issues I run into this thing, I'm confident I can find solutions to. So overall, the laser itself, the build quality and everything, seems really cool. I'm going to get into more in-depth testing, but these are just my initial impressions. The price to performance ratio seems pretty good with this thing. They have this thing listed at $259 on their website. And that seems very competitive with other 5-watt lasers I have seen on Amazon and in other places like eBay and kits that you would set up like this. I like that it is an expandable platform. That was one of the biggest things that made me say yes to this collaboration, was that it's expandable. I hate being boxed into anything in terms of a platform. I like adding additional wings to my table saw. I like adding functionality to tools that I have, and the fact that this is expandable is a huge plus. It sends you a nice little pack of just sample things. It sends you a piece of plywood, sends you a keychain, a bottle opener, a different shaped keychain, a little dog tag, so you can try etching some metal, a coaster, and it's a nice little sampling of things that you can do. I'm going to run it through its paces, try a whole bunch of different materials, see what I like, what I don't. I'm going to try maxing the settings on this thing and seeing what it does. Going to try to see what type of protections it has for itself in place. Overall, first impressions, though, are very overwhelmingly positive of this little laser. I'm kind of excited to see what I can kind of think to do next. Might try to throw a guitar body in there and see if I can etch a design on it. Yeah, it seems very quick as well. I think I'm already almost done my first engraving, so that's cool. For anyone concerned that I'm just running the laser on a tabletop without any kind of sacrificial surface, I don't know if I'm going to need one or not. I assume as I do more cutting, it will do more damage to the tabletop, but this is a pretty thick acrylic tabletop. I think it will hold up to some light laser cuts pretty well. If not, I will put a piece of just sacrificial wood underneath it. I figured for the time being, at least, acrylic is probably safer to have under the laser engraver than wood, because wood will ignite. I don't believe this acrylic will ignite. So, but we'll find out. I might be completely wrong. Okay, I was able to successfully cut using the laser engraver. This is 4mm plywood that they sent over, and it was able to cut through it. It's a nice clean cut. I did have to radically alter the settings from the spreadsheet they sent me. The spreadsheet they sent me said just run it as a line pass at 100% power, 100% speed, and that didn't do anything. It didn't even really dimple the surface at all. I ended up running at 100% power at 2.5% speed, so I had the thing dragging. I cut through 3/4 or probably like 7/8 of the board using 5% speed, so I can dial that in a little bit better and maybe not scorch my tabletop. In other news, the acrylic actually holds up really well underneath it. I don't foresee any huge problems with using this as the table. Cool. Now I'm going to try something a little bit more complete. This is just a scrap piece. I'm going to try cutting off a piece of, I bought some 1/8" MDF. I'm going to cut some strips of that, and that's what I'm primarily going to use for template cutting. So I'm going to start off my whole thing by creating a template of some kind. Sorry. Okay, I've now been using this laser for about 2 weeks. I've been trying to get at least an hour or so with the laser a day to just really put it through its paces, figure out all of its kind of like quirks and things like that. And overall, I'm incredibly happy with it. I was able to cut out a router template for a Telecaster. Getting the settings right to actually do clean cutting with this has been a little bit of a struggle, but that I think I attribute more to my inexperience with the laser engraver than deficiencies of this platform. Speaking of the platform, one of the things I like most about this laser actually is dealing with the company AlgoLaser. I've been in pretty constant contact with them since I set this up and since I've been troubleshooting the problems I've been running into, which are all due to user type things. They have been incredibly supportive of every dumb idea I have had for how to make this thing suit my needs more effectively. I reached out to them because I sourced longer rails for this as well as a longer timing belt, and the only thing I was having trouble sourcing was a longer wiring harness because I don't know what the different connectors that they use are called. So I just reached out to their support line through the normal means that a customer would and said, hey, I'm trying to do this. What are the connectors called? How can I accomplish this? Is this something that you maybe sell? And pretty quickly I was told that, hey, we don't have upgrades available yet for this platform. But the parts that you picked out in terms of rails and timing belts, yes, those would all work. In terms of a wiring harness, we're going to need to refer you over to our engineers. And I was like, okay, I figured I was going to get kind of a runaround of like, well, we don't really recommend doing that. And the engineers were the coolest people I've ever dealt with. They're like, yeah, like here's what the connectors are called, but for your use case, it might be easier to just cut the cables and splice in new cable to extend it instead of trying to locate the specific connectors we used. And I was like, oh, and you're cool with that? And like, yeah, like just be careful. So that's cool. Really happy with that. So I do have the longer rails coming in. I'm going to extend this out so that I can do full router templates for like full lengths of guitar necks and things like that. But as the platform is right now, it is large enough to do a full-size Telecaster body routing template. You just have to remove the end stops on the Y-axis, and then you have to remove the soft limits in the firmware. And I'll put the commands that you type into Lightburn to disable soft limits. This was like the most frustrating thing for me yesterday, was trying to figure this part out. And I ended up in a CNC forum where someone's like, oh yeah, the firmware does not recognize that you extended the bed. So you need to tell the firmware that soft limits no longer exist for this machine. And sending that command took care of it. And since then, everything's been going no problem. One thing I would recommend is make sure that you're working in a well-ventilated area. I have my air cleaner running the entire time I'm using this, especially when you're doing acrylic. You get some noxious gases cutting acrylic with this thing, or with any laser, I guess. Overall, my opinion of the laser is very positive. It seems to have a really good price to performance ratio. Like I said, the thing costs about $259 new. And the thing that is most impressive to me is the build quality and the expandability of the platform. And more than that, the support that the company gives in terms of people expanding the platform on their own. I think that is really cool, and I think it's something that should be applauded when it happens. In every interaction I had with AlgoLaser through their normal support chat or through the rep that I've had contact with has been overwhelmingly positive, and not once have they said, hey, that's not really what we would like you to do with this laser. It's been, hey, that's cool, we didn't think of that. Maybe try these settings, you might get a better result. Which is exactly the kind of relationship I want to have with a company when I'm messing around with their tool. So take that for what it's worth. But I think there's something to be said for the ease of use of a platform. If from zero experience and in under a week of looking into it, I was able to do exactly what I was looking to do in the first place, and was able to make router templates that I'll be able to use in future projects. I remember when I first got into 3D printing, and this was probably about 7 or 8 years ago, it was an incredibly difficult thing to get into, and the learning curve was very high, or very steep. I remember I bought like an $800 printer for Monoprice, and I never got it working correctly. Leveling the print bed was impossible, and also getting the dual extruder to like actually work was just an exercise in frustration. And contrast that with setting up my first laser engraver and having it printing like pictures of my dog within like 40 minutes of setting the thing up is just astounding to me. It's so cool. And just to reiterate from the beginning of this video, I'm receiving no financial incentive to say nice things about this laser engraver from AlgoLaser. The only compensation I received from AlgoLaser is the laser engraver itself. I do not have any affiliate links that give me any kind of financial or monetary kickback if you purchase this laser. The only link down in the description of this video is to the home page of AlgoLaser. They'll never even know if you clicked my link to get there. So I'm hoping that you can take the nice things I've said about this laser as just a person who has had a positive experience with this laser and with this company, and just know that I'm not making any extra money from you if you decide to purchase this. It's very important to me that it's not perceived that I'm trying to take advantage of my audience, my community, because I've worked very hard over these past couple of years to build this channel to the small size it is now, and too often you see small, especially in the woodworking realm, small channels start to get kind of like sponsorships, and then they all of a sudden they have nothing but nice things to say about everything, and they become basically just infomercials for whatever product got sent to them at any particular time. So just know that's not going to become this channel. I'm not sure if I'll ever get another sponsorship. I got this one, which was cool, and I got a laser engraver out of it, and that's as far as it goes in my brain. So thank you for watching. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to keep up to date with new projects as they are released. And until next time, thank you.